Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the Tradewaiters podcast, the comic book club, where we read a different trade paperback every single week. I'm Daniel and you're Nathan. We're brothers, we read comics.
Yes, we do. Lots of comics.
All kinds of comics.
And we get them signed sometimes when we have a Comic-Con here.
Yeah.
Hooray. And that was this last weekend. It was awesome.
Good stuff. We had a good old time.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about Comic-Con maybe in the poll list? And we talk about the shit we got?
Yeah, that sounds good. I got lots of things signed. Had some cool conversations with comic book folk that listeners to the show might recognize.
No, you didn't. You're very awkward. You got it signed and you ran away from every table.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I saw you. I was right behind you.
I talked to Donnie Cates. You ran away from Donnie Cates. He talked to me about Silver Surfer.
You couldn't look at Donnie Cates in the eye.
I couldn't. I bowed to him, actually. I kissed his feet.
Yeah, you went under the table.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nathan, there's Dexter Comics.
Are we in the news section now?
Yeah. Oh, shit. We got a different time. We got time codes in our description. We got the book, which is Ultraman, Rise of Ultraman. And we got the Back Matter Matters and the poll list, which is the shit that we read and got and
did and
watched. But we start with the news. But Nathan, and there's Dexter Comics, and
yeah,
then there's a Dexter prequel series, TV show actually though, so not a comic, but there's Dexter Comics, so that's my connection.
So that's comic book news because there's a Dexter prequel now.
It is now.
I guess set when? Like, is he in college learning how to do forensic work?
I don't know, but it's not gonna just be.
Or is he a kid?
Michael C. Hall with like a wig on?
That would be fucking awesome. Because
remember when they did the flashbacks?
Yeah, he looked old then.
He still had a beard on.
He's like, Dad.
Yeah,
Dad, I killed a guy. What should I do? And he's like, still Michael C. Hall.
You. And then, but no, they cast a kid that doesn't even look like him. But it's gonna be a prequel series.
Okay,
seems cool, and I'm glad there's more Dexter because I like it. I like Dexter.
Well, we should read the Dexter comic when that comes out.
Yeah, dude.
I've always seen it. I can visualize the cover. It's him on he's like in a pool. He's on one of those weird things. He's in like a floaty. Yeah, he's on like a floaty.
There's
and he's
like
laying
two
down.
Marvel Dexter comics.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So 2 trades.
Let's
I have
read
one
all
of them. Read all of them?
Read all of them.
Yeah. And Nathan, we're reading Ultraman this week.
Yes, we are.
And there's actually some Ultraman news.
Ultraman news?
Yes.
There's a show coming out.
Ultraman. Oh, it's a movie, Nathan. A Netflix film.
Yeah.
Ultraman was like acquired, I guess, by Marvel for like the American publishing rights, and that was in 2020. And a mere 4 years later, there's Ultraman X Avengers coming out at some point.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so it's a crossover.
Feel like he'd get his shit rocked a little bit. Just after
he's just
reading
Giant
this.
Man, basically.
But I guess like this is kind of like the beginning of Ultraman, like what we read. So maybe he's a lot better at what he does.
The beginning of this Ultraman.
This is the beginning of this. Well, I would assume it would be this Ultraman's continuity, but
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So does that mean? I guess something probably happens to one of the guns that they use, and he like accidentally hops dimensions to like, oh, I'm in New York, but there's Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, maybe. Or
do you think he sees like Swamp Thing or something, and he thinks it's a kaiju?
Swamp Thing in the Marvel universe? Man Thing?
Yeah.
That's very possible. But Man Thing is not like an Avenger. But that would
but
be
the Avengers
cool.
love Man Thing.
Yeah.
They always say that every issue.
Yeah, he's an honorable member.
Nice. Daniel, Marvel Comics announced another one of the black, white, and red ones, but it's Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood. A new addition to their Black, White, and Blood anthologies. The 4-issue series launches in August, and it'll feature a Kraven's Last Hunt story by J.M. DeMatteis and Elena Casagrande.
Very cool.
So the same team that I think made Kraven's Last Hunt. So it's like a little sequel.
Very cool.
Also a horror segment by Dustin Nguyen. So that'd be kind of cool.
Like in Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
So that'd be pretty sweet.
Nathan, you like Tom King?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like Archie?
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tom King's gonna be writing Archie.
Jughead. Oh.
Where he and I think it's like a one shot where he chooses between Betty and Veronica.
What a unique concept.
Yeah, but he's been dragging them along for, I don't know, 80 years or whatever. But now Tom King's going to decide who Archie chooses.
Like for real?
For real in the comic. Yeah, like in continuity, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that's a thing, and I think that's weird.
That is strange. I never thought that.
But he's a romance writer, Nathan.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So
It's a good segue.
he could do it.
Yeah.
Nathan, the Eisner nominated Godzilla Here There Be Dragons?
Yes.
Well, guess what?
What?
There's Godzilla Here There Be Dragons 2 coming.
Oh, Here There Be More Dragons.
Son of Giants is the subtitle.
Wait. What's the full title?
Godzilla Here There Be Dragons 2 - Son of Giants.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The longer the name, the better, typically, in my experience.
Yeah, less space on the cover for art.
I like how it ends in 2 and then there's like another subtitle. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it'll be by the same team.
Frank Thierry and some other dude?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and that'll be coming June 26th.
Wow.
So right around the corner.
So the first one must have been pretty good. That's the pirate ship one?
Yeah.
Godzilla fights some pirates?
Or the pirates fight Godzilla.
Yeah. Is there a Kraken in that? Have you read it? You've read it.
Yeah, I've read
reading-ish?
I've read like 3 issues. I don't remember a Kraken.
No Krakens yet.
Definitely, there are other monsters though.
Okay.
Because
surely there's going to be a Kraken at some point.
There's treasure, and it's on Monster Islands.
Whoa.
In case you weren't sold by the name, it's got a great plot.
Who put the treasure there?
Who did that? I don't know. It's the One Piece, Nathan.
Blackbeard. I guess so. That's awesome, actually.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting.
Well, good for them. Todd McFarlane had pretty big news that he stayed for Comic-Con. I don't think he was even there at Comic-Con.
He was there on Friday.
Oh, was he? Okay. I saw the news, and it was that the McFarlane Toys thing is going to start doing Spider-Man. And that was the news, I think.
Well, it was like Marvel stuff, and it was based off of like Todd McFarlane's like artwork.
Yeah.
And so, like, that Spider-Man cover.
His run of Spider-Man, yeah.
Or some other thing that he did. I think he did a cap or something. There's another one, but I can't remember it. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not for me, but it's cool.
Yeah. I figured there would have been updates on other things, but
yeah,
whatever.
Well, he did announce the Violator Origin series. Are you more excited about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Love the Violator.
Yeah, I love that clown.
My favorite character.
Really?
Yes.
More than Sam and Twitch?
Yeah. Fuck those guys. They don't violate nobody. That's what I'm about.
But what did we read this week, Nathan?
We read Ultraman, The Rise of Ultraman.
We sure did.
That sounds like I forgot the name of the title.
Ultraman, The Rise of Ultraman.
Yeah. It is by Kyle Higgins with Matt Groom. Those two are writing, and Francesco Manna is the artist with Espen Grondetjern, who's the color artist. Overall, what was your initial thoughts? For me, I had no idea what Ultraman was or is or who he does or what he does. I just know that he's pretty big sometimes.
That's basically what I knew as well.
Yeah, and so I was kind of excited to read this.
So this is not Ultraman from the DC universe, like the Earth 3 universe.
Yes.
This is
not the evil Superman Ultraman.
No. This is the Japanese property Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
A couple things about Ultraman, Nathan.
Okay, let's hear it.
So,
some fun facts.
Ultraman is based off of a show called Ultra Q. And that was released in like 1966.
Okay.
And there's been like a shit ton of Ultraman shows and movies and stuff.
Really?
Like over 20 of each. Like I looked into it. It's like insane.
Wow.
And so I thought it was like originally a manga property, but it's not. Like the manga didn't start coming out until like 2011.
Oh, okay. So it's adapting like
the
shows.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have the cover of the old show. That's the old show, Ultraman, Ultra Q.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. So Ultraman, real big deal in Japan. It was the third top selling franchise in Japan.
Whoa.
Like in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pretty big deal. It's like in Japan, Ultraman's like referenced like as much as like Superman is in America.
That's
like
cool.
Kind of how big it is. Yeah. I thought this was fun. I think it's a good like starting point for Americans.
Yeah.
Because, it's a completely new thing. And I think it's, translated pretty well. But also it's not like overriding what's been done in the past. Like it's almost like a continuation of like the continuity. In a way, they reference like old things, like old shows, and then like things that have happened,
old characters,
which is neat. I thought the art was pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, he's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah, he's good at drawing faces, good at drawing Ultraman, and fighting and whatnot.
Francesco Mana.
Yeah,
I think the characters yap a little bit.
It's a little dense.
There's some yapping.
Yeah, but I found it to be like pretty good as far as the flow, I guess.
So this came out in 2020. It's also set in 2020.
Right.
Which is, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Than how it probably would have looked if it actually
They're not wearing masks or anything.
Yeah. Everyone's Republican here, it turns out. And actually, the kaiju are a metaphor for COVID, if you didn't know that.
They're like, I'm not worried about some made-up disease. I'm worried about these kaijus.
I'll just punch them. So, actually, in a way, Ultraman does wear a mask.
What I was kind of hoping for was like a little bit more action and, Ultraman being big Ultraman sooner.
Yeah, they really make you wait.
Yeah, there are like 2 more trades of this. I think they're called different things, but they're by Kyle Higgins and whatnot. Mm-hmm. The cover is by like Alex Ross.
Amazing.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
But can be like misleading in a way. I don't know. I feel like I'm always a little let down when I see like an Alex Ross cover, because a part of me thinks like Alex Ross is going to be in the interiors, but he's not, even though the art here is really good.
Yeah.
But how cool would like an Ultraman comic be by Alex Ross?
It'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, any comic would be great with Alex Ross in it, but he doesn't do that shit anymore. He's making the bag, doing one picture.
Yeah.
So when was the last time Alex did interiors? It was like that Fantastic Four thing, right? But he was just doing the pencils.
Yeah, full circle or something.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't do the colors?
No, someone else colored him and made it very like neon and stuff. It was kind of cool. But anyway, let's get into it. So issue 1, it starts in 1966. Some dude's flying in a jet and he's hit by a meteor, and there's like some weird spiritual shit that's happening to him. And just right off the bat, what are the odds that a meteor's coming to Earth and you're flying a jet and those two things impact each other without, like, not on purpose?
No rearview mirrors on that bitch?
Yeah. Like, you think, like, there's the whole other rest of the Earth, like, and you get hit by that.
We know about meteorites, like, days in advance.
Yeah, I know. We know exactly where it's going to land.
Yeah. And I feel like anyone flying would be well aware of shit in the sky,
or even if it is moving in the air and you can't like predict that, probably within like 100-mile radius of like where it'll probably be. So just like maybe stay outside of that.
Yeah,
I just think it's funny. But in the present, Daniel, it's 2020, and we see Good year. Everybody knows,
especially in Japan.
And we see Cadet Fuji go into the office to work without a mask, Daniel,
dude.
And there's 100,000 people here working here.
Yeah,
or at least like 100.
They haven't figured out remote work at this point.
Yeah, they haven't.
I wonder when the first issue came out.
I think it was like September. It was like deep.
Okay.
It was like deep into 2020, if I remember.
Right.
But it was like after that time when like comics stopped for a little bit, like when we started up this podcast. Remember that? And it was like our Polis section was just like, there's no comics, so
that was so sad.
We're just gonna wait. I know, it was very sad, actually.
Like, they weren't printing, people were making them still, I suppose. But
yeah, it was like Strange Adventures was coming out, and it was like the second issue or something just came out, I think.
Yeah,
and they were like, I don't know when the rest is coming out, But so anyway, they're at the Japanese HQ of the United Science Patrol, or the USP, and she's quickly thrown into a mission with Captain Muramatsu, because she is a trusted technician on K-ray guns. And a aspect of the book that I like is, since they do like secretive work, they have like these captions that are like to set the setting, but like there's parts of it that are like scratched out because it's supposed to be secret. I think it's kind of fun.
What's it mean when they do that? Redacted? Like,
yeah, the stuff's like redacted.
Yeah, it's like powered by redacted, and then like,
or it'll be
shit like that.
Yeah, the primary weapon of the USP in the war against, and then it's like scratched off. So that's kind of fun. It was a little confusing for me because I didn't know what they were used for, but
yeah,
I guess I don't have the security clearance.
The
to
captions
do that.
are very like helpful. Yeah.
And so also there's like a splash page of the HQ, and there's like a bunch of people working there because that makes sense. But I feel like the rest of the series, we don't really see like a whole lot of people there. It's just like 3 or 4 characters just kind of running around doing stuff. Like, where is there a big team?
They're essential workers.
Yeah, sure. Maybe that's when they went home.
Yeah.
So Fuji and the captain go into
COVID-19 dropped like in the middle of this.
They're like, oh, but we still have to go fight the kaiju. So,
Yeah.
So Fuji and the captain go into a warehouse and they encounter a kaiju, which strikes the captain. Fuji shoots it with a pistol, and then it gets zapped away from a K-ray gun that was shot by Shin, which is a friend of Fuji. And I guess he has like a kaiju tracker, so that's why he was able to like meet them there. But this is like an awkward interaction because Fuji has been ghosting Shin because she got into the USP and Shin did not.
I started reading this book on my phone and doing like the panel to panel, and there's a page on page 8 where what's her name, Fuji?
Yeah,
she like is reading text on her phone, and I just thought it was funny. I was reading text on a phone on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to switch to my tablet.
Yeah, they call these kaiju, and I think I'm just like wired in my brain to think like a kaiju is like some ginormous creature when this is like, it's like bear sized, I would say.
Yeah, not a very big kaiju.
Yeah.
Hardly a kaiju.
Like, I think the meaning of the word kaiju is like something, it doesn't mean like something big.
Big monster.
Big monster, yeah. This is just monster.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, they get rid of the kaiju, and then on the way back from the diner, after like Shin and Fuji are talking, Fuji gets an alert on her pager thing that she has to go investigate. And since Shin is driving, he comes with Fuji. And then Captain Muramatsu is there and isn't happy about Shin tagging along on the secret mission, but they have to go do it anyway. And they see the meteor that's crash landed there, and a big Ultraman starts to walk out of it. And then Captain makes Shin shoot it with the captain's gun since his arm is hurt. And then Shin touches it after that. And then there's like a weird light that happens. And that's the end of the issue.
I don't know if my first instinct after shooting big alien is to go touch big alien.
Yeah, because they're like, he looks like he's hurting. And it's like, yeah, you shot him with a big gun that's meant to hurt and kill kaiju. And also, like, I get that the captain has like a hurt arm, so he's not the one to shoot it, and he pressures Shin into doing it. But like, you'd think you'd give the gun to the person that's on the payroll that has already shown her skills by shooting a kaiju with like a pistol before.
She's got a gun.
She's got a pistol, but like switch the pistol out for the gun because you're the USP hired person, not this random dude that drove there.
Yeah, he's like yelling at him.
Yeah, he's like pressuring him to shoot.
Which means if you have time to yell, you have time to switch out the guns.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like make Fuji do this.
Yeah,
you know, he could still be the one to like go touch it, but like it's like a plot point where he feels bad for pressuring him, and it's like, you could have just pressured Fuji and it would have been a little bit better, I think.
And this is Ultraman, not Ultrawoman.
Yeah. Yeah. A woman can't be Ultra.
Yeah.
So issue 2, Shin and this Ultraman entity are like connected on some psychic plane, and they're like trying to merge essences, and they're like running through Shin's memories, while Fuji and Captain Muramatsu are just staring at Shin's still body for 19 hours. Like, they can't really interact with what's going on. I don't really know what's going on there. It looks like there's a huge tornado that like Ultraman and Shin are inside of that they can't interact with for some reason. But that's been going on for 19 hours, I guess.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, what does this scene look like? Like, they start setting shit up like outside of it to like study it. But I'm like, what an awkward... How long do you wait before you like call the rest of the USP, you know?
It reminds me of like WandaVision, where like they find the town, it's just in that big bubble.
Yeah, and they
like set out outside of it.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know what to do.
It's like, do we touch it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And I like these like psychic plane pages, and we see some like other Ultraman designs from wherever Ultraman's like from, which I think is kind of cool. Like we see some with like different shaped fins on the head.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like what does he call himself?
Ultra.
He calls himself an Ultra?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like
what I thought.
the species almost.
Are they?
And then he also mentions that like this Ultra talks about how his brother was killed by humans.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
In the 60s or something.
Yeah. In 1966 is when the OG show was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense why it's set then.
Yeah.
So Fuji and Muramatsu go to see Kataoka, who's some dude that, you know, works for the USP. I don't really know.
He used to work there.
He used to work there,
but they like kicked him out
because he was doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to wear a mask, and they're like, "No, no libs here. So the captain like knocks him out for some reason, and then they find a big alien gun, or a big gun that's meant to shoot aliens. I'm not sure. And then they start to get attacked by a USP plane, and so they have to like run away, even though they work for USP. But they can't really explain that to the jet, I guess. And so Captain Muramatsu jumps out of the car so that Fuji can escape into the forest. And then also Ultraman is explaining the history of Kaiju being from like other dimensions, and like his Ultra people will like help civilizations to evolve and beat the Kaiju if they're able to, but if not, they will help. And so he's kind of like a Viltrumite in a way.
Yeah.
Where he like goes to just like random planets and stuff and like kind of helps them out, except he doesn't kill them if they're like not receptive.
Right.
They just like help anyway. So that's kind of interesting. Like these Kaiju are just interdimensional beings that show up on random planets, and so they like go and help.
Yeah.
So I like that concept, but
it's weird that they like this first issue, they just automatically get into like the multiverse.
This is the second issue, but
right. Or like the first trade, they get into that. You know,
I think you have. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily multiverse.
He says multiverse.
Oh, if it's multidimensional, is that multiversal?
Yeah, dimension in a universe is like the same thing.
Because I see like dimension is like a different like plane of existence, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe
I would have preferred
maybe it's
that.
one of the same here.
Yeah.
So Fuji finds some dude that built the alien gun to see what he knows, and then Ultraman tells Shin that there's about to be a Kaiju crisis, but Shin's like, no, the USP, like, we have it under control. We're all good. And then they're like, well, I think there's something that's going to happen, so we should probably merge. And then Shin's like, okay, I guess. What do we need to do to merge? And then Ultraman just like roasts him for like all of Shin's shortcomings, and then after that, they agree to merge.
Yeah, he's like, I can make up for all this shit that you like.
Yeah, and so like, I just like this panel where it's like all of Shin's like shortcomings.
Yeah,
it like reminds me of that verse in the Kendrick song where he's talking about Drake and like, he's like, I hate the way you walk. It's just like all these things that Shin does wrong, and I'm like, damn, no wonder he looks sad in the next
Kendrick
panel.
is Ultraman.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, yeah, they finally merge. So then issue 3. Shin wakes up in the United Science Patrol HQ. There's like a new character. It's like a doctor working on him. And he tells Shin that Fuji has gone rogue. And Shin doesn't believe this because he knows Fuji. But he goes to talk to Captain Muramatsu, who's in custody. Because now the whole USP thinks that like they all went rogue together and they just caught the captain. And so Shin and the captain talk for a little bit, and the captain whispers the potential location of Fuji.
They look like they're about to kiss.
They do look, it does look very sensual. But what I don't understand is like, why would Muramatsu whisper Fuji's location like they aren't being watched during this whole like...
Yeah, they probably got some, like they have these little like floating robots that are like
probably
cameras.
Pretty good cameras, I would imagine.
Probably even better mics.
Especially if they're used for, you know,
documentation or whatever.
Yeah, interrogations,
or surveillance.
Stuff like that. So I just think it's funny that he's like, oh, just whisper it to me, and then they won't know. They're going to be like, what'd you whisper to him? You know?
Or
at least follow him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Also, Shin and like Ultraman have like a firestorm situation going on.
Yeah.
Where it's like Shin's talking and then Ultraman would be like, this guy's kind of sketchy. I don't know.
Yeah, he like pops up.
Yeah.
And you know,
like
Shin can see Ultraman, but no one else can.
Yeah, it's like a hallucination that goes on.
Right.
So Fuji and Dr. Yamamoto, who's the guy that built the alien gun, I guess, they get attacked by Kaiju in his house. And then Shin works out a deal with the director of USP, Yurio, to find Fuji in exchange for information that Shin has on the meteor that he touched.
At this point, I was like, there's been so much talking. If I don't see a big battle, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, this whole time I'm like, okay, so here's what's going on. Here's the situation. What's going on now? And then like they really explain everything that's like happening so that there's no like plot holes, I guess. But then he just like writes plot holes that he has to like write himself out of by doing that. And so there's just like, there's so much exposition. And it's like the goal is to just like go fight a kaiju, you know? So it's like,
yeah,
it's like I get it. And then but it's just weird how often he writes himself into a situation that he has to write himself out of. But he also forgets about it a couple times, which we'll get into. But
I think my like forgiveness of it is like he's trying to establish a franchise to new readers.
Yeah.
Completely new readers. So like,
but I feel like there's a lot of like, I guess like a lot of characters, but I don't know.
There's like 4 characters.
I guess, but yeah, maybe not that many characters, but
it is.
There's a lot of concepts that I guess he's trying to outline, which is cool.
It took me like a week to read like the first 2 issues, and then the rest I flew through.
Yeah, you can't really read this at night because you'll like fall asleep. But that's what I discovered. But like I like all of these concepts, and they're like easy to follow. But like setting those up, he chooses to make it like a little bit convoluted, I think. Or it's like he tries to introduce them slowly, and because he's trying to introduce them slowly, he has to write a reason for like everything to like not be here right now. And so by doing that, he creates like these weird plot holes. It's interesting. So they go to the house that Fuji was in, and like Ultraman tells Shin that their merge didn't go great. So until it's better, he should be careful using Ultraman abilities because it could be like too much strain and kill them. But this is like one of the things. It's like, okay, so they've merged, but I guess he doesn't want him to be like big full Ultraman yet until like the last issue. So he has to write a reason for them to not be able to go full Ultraman yet. And then he's like, oh, it's because I was hurt. And then when we did the merge, it like fucked up.
And he's like,
but then it's
you
like,
only have like 3 minutes to be Ultraman.
Yeah. And I'm like, where'd that come from? He also has a device that Ultraman slipped into his like shirt pocket or something that allows him to become Ultraman for 3 minutes. And I'm like, where did you get that? Why did you need that in the first place?
Oh,
like there's like a little there's like a little jewel or something that he pulls out, and if he rips the jewel, he becomes Ultraman.
What's that like memory thing in Men in Black?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
And so like because they don't want to be full power, they're like, oh, merge didn't fully happen, but here's a device that I somehow slipped in your jacket pocket that'll work for only 3 minutes. You know, it's just like it's too much. But Ultraman also doesn't want to use the K-ray.
Neuralizer. It's called Neuralizer.
That's yeah.
Anyway.
But what's weird is that they have a device that'll get rid of Kaiju pretty easily, but Ultraman doesn't want him to use that either. So it's like there's all these things that he has to like set up before we could just go punch a big Kaiju.
Yeah. And so he does like turn into Ultraman.
Yeah.
But I just kind of assumed that Ultraman was always big. Like I didn't think like, oh, he is
like
small and then gets
bigger.
big. Yeah. So he's like normal sized here, but is like stronger and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So Shin finds the Kaiju. He activates the device, become Ultraman. They brawl for a bit. The Kaiju's beaten. Ultraman turns back to Shin and reunites with Fuji. She's like, oh my God, that was you. That was crazy. And then the guy that they were there for in the first place, the Yamamoto guy, blasts Fuji with a K-ray gun because he's paranoid about the USP or something. And that's how the issue ends. So she gets killed, disintegrated.
Yeah.
And
there's also a bit that like they can't just like run away, I guess, with Fuji because Kaiju's like imprint on people and then just kind of always chase after them.
Yeah. I don't know if that's... I assume that's like part of the Ultraman lore. It's kind of interesting. It's like you see something, it's like, okay, I can track you now wherever you go, like a dog.
They got your scent or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting. But what's weird is that he does like this pose to like shoot a blast.
Yeah.
It's a cool pose, but why does a blast come out? Also, is that the same thing as the K-ray? Because he shoots the Kaiju and he's just like not there anymore, but he doesn't look like he got disintegrated. And so...
Because the K-ray comes from...
a gun.
Ultra technology or whatever.
Oh.
Like they got it from like one of their ships or something.
So is this essentially the same thing?
I don't know.
Because Ultraman made a point to like, don't use the K-ray gun.
Maybe not then.
So I maybe just killed him and that's better in Ultraman's mind.
Yeah.
He's like, okay,
Killing
cool.
Kaiju?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I just don't know what that is. I like the pose though. It's kind of cool. So issue 4.
In this cover, I didn't really like think about what his like side profile looks like. And so I didn't realize that like the fin looked like that.
Yeah.
And it looks a little goofy.
It is a little goofy.
But it's a good cover. You know, it's just a design I wasn't aware of.
I feel like the fin goes too far forward and too far back, maybe.
I'd say not enough forward. You'd think it'd just be kind of on like the front part.
It looks like
a little mohawk or something.
Yeah, it looks like he has a mohawk, but he woke up with a bedhead.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that looks like. So yeah, issue 4, Fuji isn't dead. She's in some other dimension now. and she's being held hostage there pretty much by this Yamamoto guy until Shin can escort him away from the USP, because he's been like running from them ever since he got fired or something. So, but Shin actually escorts him out to the director of USP, Yurio, and I guess these two have a pass, the director and Yamamoto. And then Shin finds out that the K-ray doesn't actually disintegrate kaiju. It only transports them to another dimension, which is where Fuji is like fighting for her life right now. And whenever Fuji shoots a kaiju in this dimension, they just pop up somewhere else. They like respawn.
Yeah.
So she's not able to like fully be safe in this dimension. And apparently the more that dimension gets full of kaiju, the closer it is to just breaking open a gate to our dimension, and then all the kaiju come out at once, which would not be good.
Yeah, so for the last like 50 years or whatever,
Yeah.
they haven't been like stopping any kaiju. They've just been sending them to one place.
Yeah, they're like inflating a balloon that's like bound to burst pretty soon. And I guess this is the threat that Ultraman sensed, that there was going to be like a kaiju sort of crisis, which is why he came to Earth in the first place.
In the USP, their like mission is to like take out kaiju before like the public is like aware of it. So like the public doesn't know about any of the kaiju, because
That's crazy to me.
Because the kaijus are attracted to fear, and so if there's like worldwide fear of these kaijus, then I guess it would just be like a rampage kind of thing.
I like that concept, but I don't know. There's some situations in here where it's like there's a kaiju out, and it's like, how did no one see that? You know?
Yeah,
but
I mean, I think when
the first one, it happened in like a
warehouse
with like a bunch of meat, but there were workers there.
The second one, it was
in the woods, which is fine because no one's in the woods. The third one is what really gets me, but whatever. My question is, if Fuji's in like some pocket dimension, why are there like houses and trains and stuff there? Maybe
houses and trains have been zapped.
So it just takes anything.
Yeah, it took her.
You can zap a whole ass house.
Yeah, It's like Jumper.
Oh yeah, good movie. Yeah, he can bring things, can he?
Not rated very highly on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I haven't watched it.
I think it just came out at like a prime time for us, where we're like, everything is cool.
I was like, teleporting wherever you want. That'd be so cool.
There hasn't been a teleporting movie since, because it's so good. You can't top it.
Yeah, people have tried, and Hollywood's like, no. People are rewatching Jumper still.
We tanked at the box office because people watch Jumper instead. Has there been a teleporting movie since then?
I mean, what is a teleporting movie? Like a movie where like the main concept is you can teleport?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Dude, I saw...
there hasn't even been a Hayden Christensen movie since
I saw
then.
a Portal cosplay at
Comic-Con?
At Comic-Con, yeah.
Were they like the two robots?
No, it was like someone who had like the Aperture shirt or whatever, and had like a jumpsuit, and then she had like this arm thing. It didn't look like a gun or anything.
It was like a robotic arm?
It was a robotic arm kind of thing.
Like canon.
Yeah. So it was pretty fucking sick. I'm like, that looks so familiar. What is that from? Oh, it's a game I played like less than a week ago.
Yeah. It's it would have been like the Portal 1 girl.
Okay.
It was a girl, right? You said?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I always thought it was a dude because they're talking to me, you know?
Yeah. Every character's a dude in your brain. A woman can't be a leader of a franchise.
I can't play a woman?
Yeah. So Shin gets Yamamoto to shoot him into the like kaiju vault dimension, and then he becomes Ultraman, even though that was like a big problem like 5 minutes ago. I don't know why he's able to do it now, but he flies because he can do that, I guess, to go save Fuji.
That was new, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what mechanism in here are
you?
You
can get big, he can fly, he can shoot a blast.
He can shoot a blast when he crosses his arms.
He's strong.
Yeah, all around pretty cool.
He is an Ultraman.
He's just Superman, I guess.
That can teleport.
And get big. He can't teleport.
Or not teleport. Yeah, get big.
Fly. Or wait, get big. So Ultraman and Fuji shoot a door back to our dimension to escape. But then they're surprised when another kaiju walks through for some reason. So like, oh shit, we gotta go deal with that.
And it's Godzilla.
And it's literally if Godzilla had like a shitty younger brother or something.
Yeah.
Like he looks like Godzilla is like cracked out.
Yeah.
Like in this vault dimension, they had like cocaine, and he's a big abuser of it.
Dude,
like, come on, dude.
I feel like an Ultraman Godzilla crossover is such a slam dunk.
It would be,
and it just hasn't happened.
Is it not?
Maybe.
I figured it would. But what I'm angry about is that this is clearly just Godzilla when there's a really cool looking kaiju with like trees and shit on his back a couple pages before.
Yeah.
Like, give me that one. That one's kind of cool. So, I don't know.
My issue with this issue is that they like just learned about this dimension that the K-rays like send you to.
Yeah.
And Ultraman gets in there and then like he immediately gets out.
Yeah.
I'm like, and he jumps in and they didn't really explain how to get out.
So he just like figures it out.
I guess.
Yeah. He's like, let me just shoot a door open.
Yeah. Is there like a different button on the K-ray or something that gets you
reverse?
Out?
Yeah. Is there a reverse button?
It was just like weird. Yeah.
And like, why wouldn't their first thought when coming back be, oh, I wonder if other kaiju got out? The ones that were like just chasing us, you know?
I mean, they shot a portal like into the sky.
So maybe
it is a little weird that this big one just got out.
Yeah, this guy that can't fly.
Yeah,
and looks like he's not capable of much. You know.
Yeah,
this is a silly panel of just this Godzilla guy. But
and then this next,
there's there's sick designs for some of these kaiju in this book, and so for this big bad to be Godzilla, it's a little disappointing. But
yeah,
what were you gonna say?
Nothing. Well, there's like did you get the #1 variant right before this like #5 cover?
Yeah.
And it's like him punching like a kaiju that we haven't seen this entire book.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, he looks like kind of
like a lobster
Egyptian
thing
or something, and
steampunk lobster.
Yeah.
But then like
that has like tits.
Also yeah, I guess so, yeah.
You notice
that's important to you. And then but like also the issue 5 cover, it's like a cool looking Godzilla. You know? Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just shitting on the artist a little bit too much because he's been doing really good so far, I think.
He draws Ultraman like really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Whenever I see him, I'm like, okay, finally, we get some Ultraman shit.
All the action shots are really sick.
Yeah. So issue 5, they're like, shit, what do we do with Godzilla? And Ultraman gets big to go fight the big kaiju while Fuji's like, let me try and figure out what we did with this guy before. Because if he was in that vault dimension, we probably dealt with him before. So
look how derpy this like Godzilla looks like when he gets punched.
It's very silly.
He's like, who?
But like they make a point to say why Ultraman can't use the cross arm beam, but then we see that Ultraman's like energy level.
Yeah, that's been a thing.
It's still at like 91%.
Yeah, you're chilling.
He used a crossbeam, an arm crossbeam before, so it's like, why wouldn't you be able to like shoot another laser?
Just spam it for a minute.
Yeah, just
and
see
then
what happens. Yeah, but they're like, no, I can't use it. It's dangerous. I can only get big.
If it was down to like 34, I'm like, all right, maybe you just hang on.
Yeah,
you know?
I really fucking love this double page spread where he like gets bigger and he's like, it looks like he's like skating or like ice skating. Dude. And that's really fucking cool.
If he had like Heelys or something, and gets big,
that would be cool.
Dude, this like Godzilla even has like a Godzilla blast. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know. It's literally just Godzilla.
I didn't notice that.
This is probably like a problem for whoever owns the rights to Godzilla in America, but whatever. No one read this book,
IDW? I mean, Godzilla, like Marvel had Godzilla for a little while, but not in 2020.
No, like whoever like the film rights for it would probably be a problem. Is that Warner Bros?
Universal?
Universal, yeah. That's definitely what it is.
Or Legendary.
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
So Yamamoto, the guy that was like a rebel or like a rogue for USB, he shows up in a jet and starts fighting for the kaiju because he's like, humanity's finally going to know about the kaiju and this big problem that we have. So this is a good thing. So he starts to fight Ultraman. But then after like a really bad speech from Ultraman about forgiveness or something, Yamamoto immediately switches sides and then helps to take out the kaiju and they zap him away. And so here's where I have a couple problems.
Real quick, before you get to the issues.
Yeah.
So when he's flying this jet thing, he's like going towards like Godzilla and Ultraman, and he says there needs to be real damage. And I'm like, is he gonna fly this into a building? That was the actual thought that came to mind. I'm like, this would be crazy.
I knew that he was talking about he wanted the kaiju to do it, but that would be insane if he was like,
I thought it was like he's trying to get, you know, public awareness of like this kaiju in case people didn't notice that before.
Yeah. And
then it seemed like he was gonna like pull like a -1 and just try and fly into his mouth or something to kill him.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, but what were
But
you
like,
saying?
my problem is that his reasoning for trying to help the kaiju is that he wants there to be enough damage so that they can't cover it up.
Right.
But you know what would be really hard to cover up? A big fucking kaiju right off the shore with a big man punching him.
Of Tokyo.
And what he says, what Kyle Higgins tries to write to, like, I don't know, cover that point is that they would gaslight, Tokyo or wherever this is into thinking that was like a hologram.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how would you cover all of this up? And he's like, I don't know, but I want the kaiju to like stomp on a building at least.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And it's annoying that Yamamoto was here in the first place because for 40 years, he said he's been trying to avoid the USP and now he's just like getting involved again. But like, if you have a jet, you can get out of there pretty fast.
Yeah.
So it would be in character for him.
Never
to
be
just,
seen again.
Yeah, it would be in character for him just like never be seen again because he didn't want to be here in the first place. So also they use a big beam anyway. There's no consequence or confirmation that the two are like fully merged now. So I don't know what happened from when he was like, I can't use the big beam to him using the big beam.
Yeah.
Or like how he gets all this Ultraman power. Because it was a problem before. He could only use it for like 3 minutes, but he's been using it on and off. And there was no confirmation that like, oh, okay, we're good now.
And this whole fight's like in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Or like in this lake.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no like property damage or anything.
Yeah.
But Ultraman's like, no, let me grab this like wires from this bridge.
Yeah.
And then just wrap up this
essential infrastructure cables.
Yeah, that could probably like destroy this bridge if
millions of dollars of repair.
Yeah. And so that just like, if his goal was to, keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
It's definitely out of the question now.
People are going to be like, why did that hologram man take a bunch of cable from the Golden Gate Bridge?
Right.
I do like some of the action poses. There's a kick that he does where he's like kind of upside down. He's like a cartwheel kick.
Yeah, very Spider-Man kick.
That's fucking awesome.
His calf looks crazy.
His calves, they do go crazy. Also, I don't know why he couldn't just zap. I don't know why he needed the cables. He like uses it to like lasso it around him. And then he just like zaps him. So it's like, why couldn't you just zap him from where he was?
He didn't seem like he's moving very fast.
Yeah.
But so where you need to like hold him down.
It was just funny. It's just whatever. But so
and one hit kill.
They zap the big kaiju either away or he actually disintegrates. It's not clear what happens to them. But to wrap up, Shin finally joins the USP because he wasn't accepted before. And he decides that they should do controlled openings of the vault to prevent it from bursting all of the kaiju out.
Yeah, they'll just let him out and then just spread him out.
Yeah.
And then have Ultraman there so that the kaiju like imprint on him. So they're always going after him rather than like civilians.
Which makes sense. But he also wants to go public with the information that there's kaiju.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that happens. They're going to start doing that. And then the final page, we see the original dude that killed the original Ultra that came to Earth. He like pops up randomly in New Zealand. And I think this is probably the guy from the original show from the 60s.
Yeah. His name's Dan. Dan Moriboshi.
Yeah.
And he was like the OG like Ultraman, I think.
He's the OG dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the end.
Yeah.
So, my question is if they fight the kaiju this way, where do they go after? I guess he is just zapping them away.
Right? The Ultraman must be like killing them.
Actually killing, disintegrating them.
Yeah, because
it must be. I mean, it's not ever confirmed, but if they're just zapping them back into the vault dimension, that you're not solving it. You're not solving anything. So yeah, he must be actually like killing them.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, let's go into Back Matter Matters.
Back Matter Matters.
We get some extra comics, which is kind of cool. There's like fun little training video cartoons for USP people. They're called Kaiju Steps, and it's just like it feels like a training video, but put into like a cartoon that they animated.
Oh, dude, I totally didn't even see these.
And then there's like a prequel comic thing, I think, that's a couple pages about. I don't know what time this is set.
Michael Cho did one of these.
Yeah. He does really good in this.
It's sick.
It's called Ultra Q. So I guess the original team, like you said, it's set in the 50s. So it's just kind of like people dealing with kaiju back in the 50s. So that's pretty fun. I think it's like the origin of the USP. is what this is showing, because there's like two groups like monster hunters, and they're like, we should team up, and that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, it's like one color, which is neat.
Yeah, it's like a cool black and white type effect. So I like that. I like that it's Michael Cho that did this.
Yeah, I love Michael Cho.
And then a couple more training video cartoons. There's a preview for what's to come in the Rise of Ultraman. He fights another Godzilla-looking kaiju, it seems. And then we got some covers. Is Ultraman, is he Japanese?
Yeah.
The property? Is
it
Japanese? Okay. It looks like we got some like Japanese artists, which is pretty cool. Got some cool ones. We got a Scotty Young, of course, because it's Marvel and they use him for everything.
Mm-hmm.
They got him locked up in the basement so they can create baby covers.
His design like kind of makes more sense to me as far as like the fin, because it like cuts off.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it cuts off halfway. Looks pretty cool. It looks like a mask.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. There's a action figure variant.
Pretty cool.
I don't know what like the little accessories in there are, but still pretty cool.
A buzzsaw in case it needs that, or
yeah. We got an Olivier Coipel Spider-Man variant, which is kind of cool.
Very nice.
Spider-Man's on the shoulder. And Art Germ variant, which kind of looks like a Alex Ross variant, but still pretty cool. And just Art Adams, couple American people, a couple Japanese people. And then there are some like photo variants from like maybe the original production of Ultraman or something, which are pretty fun.
Yeah.
So that is it.
There's like a little like article thing about Ultraman, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I didn't read that.
But I didn't read it.
Cool.
So pretty good. What would you rate this book, Daniel? Like conceptually, I enjoy this, but I think just the amount of exposition that's in this kind of puts me off of it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put that into like a food rating, but I'd probably
give it like you go to some Japanese place, you can get some mochi.
Ooh,
maybe like 3 or 4 of those. I like mochi, but maybe it's like a flavor I'm not like super into.
Okay.
Like it's, I don't know, like it's like dragon fruit or something. Like I don't have like beef with dragon fruit, but
like they're out of the matcha.
Matcha's like one of the best.
Yeah.
Coffee's a really good one.
They're out of the strawberry.
Yeah. So it's just like these ones, and it's still like good, and maybe not like the flavor I prefer, but there's like good stuff, and it's not like I'm never gonna get like mochi again.
Yeah.
So
okay. So along those lines, I'd probably give it like a boba, like some sort of a boba drink.
Okay.
But maybe it's like the popping boba, which I don't typically go.
Oh, I prefer that over the tapioca balls.
Oh, really? I like tapioca.
It's weird.
I like to chew it. I'm hungry and thirsty.
I'd rather shoot them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you like, when you drink the popping one, do you like smash the boba like between your tongue and in the roof of your mouth?
No, just chewing it.
You just chewing it? Okay, good. Yeah, I'd probably do like a medium boba drink, but I was like, oh, I didn't want the poppin' boba, and they got the order wrong or something.
Okay.
Like I like it conceptually, but when I was consuming it, I was like, oh, okay, this will take me a little bit to get through. But overall, I mean, I'm interested in Ultraman still. Probably check out the movie at some point.
Yeah, I'm glad to like
the animation for the movie looks really good.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see like what that's about, and I'm glad that I kind of have like a base level knowledge on like what it is, you know, rather than like trying to figure it out in the movie, or like I just kind of like knowing these things going into this stuff. Because
to me, Ultraman was always kind of like who's that like rocket dude that looks kind of similar to
the Rocketeer?
The Rocketeer. It's always like people like this.
It's basically just like Japanese Rocketeer.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know, it seems pretty cool.
I think Rocketeer has a fin too. Like,
yeah, he does. It's like steampunk Ultraman. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I'm glad I checked it out, and I kind of have a base understanding of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The context of like this being like a big thing and being an existing property for so long, like on TV originally, is kind of cool to know too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's cool that something so old has been like
so
carried on for so long. Yeah. And in like a way, this is kind of like a Power Rangers, like a Japanese Power Rangers in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like a show, and then there's just like comics about it and whatnot. So It's pretty.
Yeah, Power Rangers is like our Ultraman, I would say. Is Power Rangers an American thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into pull list. Colon.
Shove in your box.
The pull list. The pull list. What did you shove in your box? Kind of want to go first, Nathan.
Okay.
Because I read the Ultraman manga.
Whoa.
Yeah, the first volume of that.
Wow, you did some homework.
I sure did. Because like we could have either read this or like the manga. You know, either way would have worked out. So the manga came out in like 2011, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been going on for like a long time. I don't know if it's still coming out. It's got like 120 chapters. I read like the first 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is super different. I think I enjoyed it about the same amount as like this book that we did.
Okay.
So Shin is like the original Ultraman.
Okay.
But he like after like Ultraman's done fighting the Kaiju, his like memory is like wiped. And he like grows old and has like a son. But like the son is like invulnerable. And so like even though Ultraman like left his body and they like unmerged, he's still like strong and shit. He still has like powers and stuff.
Shin or
Shin?
His son?
Both.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's strong and like invulnerable basically. So there's like they call it like the science patrol, I think is what it was.
United Science Patrol, yeah.
Yeah, it's in like the Japanese like branch or whatever. And what they do is that there are people who have like kaiju videos on their phone or whatever, but they like alter the videos to make it seem like like there was like a plane that blew up that was blown up by like a kaiju, like an alien kaiju or whatever. And they altered it to make it look like it was like a maintenance issue. Some people think it's like a terrorist attack.
Okay.
You know, causing conflict rather than letting people know there's aliens.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah.
cause a international conflict.
Yeah. So Ultraman's like, it came from space, the meteorite or whatever. And so in this, the kaiju is like an alien that's looking for Ultraman. Right.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's like, because the power that they have is not something they should have.
Right.
Kind of thing. Right. And so this kid grows up and he thinks he's like Superman because he has like these powers, but his dad's never like told him about any of this or whatever. Okay. Like he like flies home from school and shit, like jumping over rooftops and whatnot.
So Shin like, oh, I don't know how that's happening. It's crazy. Wow, what a surprise. You're flying.
Yeah. And there was a situation where like this girl he likes is getting like kind of cornered by like a bunch of bullies or whatever. And he like starts like a ruckus and one of the bullies goes to like kick him and he just like blocks the kick, but it like breaks the kid's legs.
Yeah, I was about to say, it seems like it would be really painful.
All he did was stop it, but it, like
shit.
The dude's legs like turned the other way. and so the alien finds this kid, right? His name's like Shinyama or something like that. It's like basically still Shin.
Okay.
And when he's like overwhelmed by this alien, his dad like jumps down to like save him.
Wait, that's awesome.
And he's got the fucking Ultraman like suit on. And he's like, I'm Ultraman. Like,
whoa. Wait, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fucking sick. So his dad's still Ultraman. I guess and during this, he like found out he was Ultraman.
Wait, so when you're reading this, you know that Shin is Ultraman. It's not like from the perspective of the kid, and then you find out that Shin is Ultraman from a reveal.
There
when
is
Shin...
a reveal like halfway through where he finds out from like an old colleague or whatever.
Got it.
So I think the Godzilla in this, his name is like Bemuller or something like that. They had like a name. And so the alien that came down, that's Bemuller, I guess. Okay. And so when his dad's fighting the alien, like the USP or whatever, like picks him up, but he can't like, his dad's losing. But the dude just had like a new suit ready for his son. Oh. And so his son drops down and like saves his dad again.
That's nice.
Like fights him and shit.
That must be really annoying trying to figure out the timing of that. Because if he's like a growing boy,
he's like,
oh shit, he outgrew the
like,
fucking
your son obviously is going to turn to Ultraman. You know? So this is like the new suit. So,
oh my god.
So they have like an updated version of it.
Hell yes.
And so it's kind of like what like movies do to like Marvel costumes and shit. They just make it like really modern and
they
like
give it a lot of lines.
Yeah, a lot of lines, kind of like Transformer-y in a bit.
I mean, I think it looks pretty cool.
It does look really sick. This is like the moment where like his dad comes to save the day.
That's awesome.
And and
wow, how fun.
And then that's the alien that like drops in.
Smash.
I know. We're doing them hips. And so, yeah, it was a really good fucking time. And because it's like a manga, it like just flows super well.
It's very fast.
And like, so it was like 6 chapters, right? But 4 chapters of it was just the fight scene with the alien.
That's great.
Yeah, and it was fucking lit.
I think Kyle Higgins should take some notes. Maybe he was like, oh, we need to make this Americanized, so let me just put a bunch of words in it.
Yeah, I kind of like how like the Americanized version is still like staying true to like the old school stuff. And I think it works, you know?
It does, yeah.
It's mostly the same design.
Nope.
But yeah, there's like 19 volumes of this Ultraman manga.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you about that and kind of the differences.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
It is pretty fun.
What'd you pick up from the store?
So we're getting Helverine, Nathan.
Helverine.
Are you getting it?
Maybe. I think I probably will. I haven't gone yet.
Is Stegman on that?
No, he did the cover though.
Okay.
Stegman's wrapped up in X-Men right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that. Might give that a shot.
Yep.
I think just because it's fun. Then
Very
we
cool,
got Batman Dark Age #3.
Yep.
And Dawn Runner #3.
Dawn Runner #3. Got to find #2. I'm also going to be picking up Ultimate Spider-Man #5.
Okay.
So that'll be cool.
Nice.
And I read Ultimate Spider-Man 3, Ultimate X-Men 3, and that Mad comic that you gave me. I forgot to bring it back, so I'll bring it back next week.
That's fine.
But I read it, and it is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I liked it a lot.
There's like... It was the free comic book day issue of Mad, and there's just like a collection of strips, I guess, over the history of Mad magazine.
Yeah.
But it was like all the DC ones.
Right.
And a lot of them were like, oh, this is cute. Or a lot of them was like, okay, that's funny. There's one of them, though, that like made me laugh out loud because I wasn't expecting it. And it was, there was like a section where they were making fun of like the Snyder Justice League movie, I think.
Okay.
And you remember that scene where like Wonder Woman saves a bunch of people at the bank and then she like throws a bomb, like she throws a bomb with like a suitcase in the air.
Yeah.
In this comic, she saves the people. She throws the suitcase in the air, but then they see money come out of the suitcase and then the bank blows up. And it is so fucking funny to me because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Because most of the rest of them, like they look like Charlie Brown or like Calvin and Hobbes. Like they did a really good job replicating that art style.
It's very like deliberate, just copying of that design.
It's very fun, but I just wasn't expecting that one, so I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, no, I had a good time with that.
So I thought that was cool. Yeah,
that's why I was like, damn, dude, I miss Mad. I didn't.
You never picked it up. I mean, if they're all like that.
I remember I picked up a Mad magazine when we were like kids and we lived at like Grammy's house.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It had Spider-Man on it.
Yeah, they're kind of like a Saturday Night Live type deal, but like for comics almost, because I think a lot of them would be like political cartoons and stuff like that. That would like be kind of making fun of current events and things like that, but they would also incorporate like superheroes and stuff. Right. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. Do you want to talk about what you got from Comic-Con, Nathan?
Yes. I mean, I didn't get it. Oh, actually, I got that game.
Oh, you did?
Panel. Yeah, I ended up getting it.
I'll send you money for that.
So I got some things signed. That's mainly what I go there for typically. It's just a
lot of SIGs.
Get SIGs from people. Where I get signed. We met Charles Soule, which we had before, but also Ryan Brown from 8 Billion Genies.
Yeah.
Got 8 Billion Genies signed. He did like a little genie drawing on the signing, which is kind of cute.
Yeah. And
we learned about his upcoming Barfly, the Minor Threat spinoff, which actually looks really good. He was showing me some of the pages. Mm-hmm. I was talking to him for like 5 to like 10 minutes ish before. That's when I met you there.
Yeah.
But he was telling me about like all the little in jokes and stuff that he put in Barfly, and he said there's probably more like little jokes that he was able to put in the background in this book than in 8 Billion Genies, which is crazy to me.
Wow, yeah.
Because in 8 Billion Genies, it was like all over the place because it's like everybody making a wish. But yeah, we were talking about that for like a long time.
He definitely has fun with drawing.
He does, yeah. Did you know that in 8 Billion Genies, he put his cat somewhere hidden in every issue?
I did not know that, but I don't doubt it.
Yeah. So I was looking at some of the original art pages, and there's one that was like a pretty good page with his cat hidden in there. He pointed out to where it was, and it was only like $300, but I didn't get it. But it would have been kind of cool.
It seems like a pretty good price for Ryan Brown.
Yeah,
page,
it's really good. I mean, it wasn't like a huge like it didn't have like any of the superheroes or whatever. It was
Yeah.
like in the forest, but there was like genies on the page.
Yeah.
There's like a hidden little Easter egg in there, and there's some of the main characters. So it was
Yeah.
pretty good. So I got those signed. We met Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman. Did you end up seeing Ryan Stegman or?
No, just because like I only had like one thing for him to sign,
That
and it
makes
was like
sense.
$10 for a signature, and I'm like, meh.
Yeah. So I got
Keep going.
I got my Silver Surfer Black signed by Donnie, my Hulk #1 signed by Donnie, and then Vanish. No. What was it? Silver Surfer. Oh, King in Black.
King in Black.
#1 signed by Donnie Cates.
Do you have Vanish, or did you read it?
I have Vanish. I was going to have him sign it, but it was like $10 a signing, so I only did three comics.
For sure.
But he was really cool. I talked to him for a little bit just about Silver Surfer. He was like flipping through the pages and he's like, man, Tradmore's a beast. And I'm like, what? Don't you know this? Like, it was just kind of funny that he was like flipping through mine.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, dude, he's super crazy. He was, we talked about those like 3 Sentinels that were like in the first issue. And I remember one of us made a comment. It's like, this is the most Tradmore design thing ever.
Yeah.
And I told him that. And he was like, yeah, he wanted to do that apparently. He was like, I want to do like 3 random Sentinels. And then Donnie just like wrote that into the script. So
nice.
You could really feel the collaboration on that book. And it was really cool.
Nice.
So yeah, what are you going to show me?
Oh, I just like went through some like long boxes, like some back
nice.
issues. Got some like heavy metal
Oh yeah.
magazines.
Yeah, those are really fucking cool.
Yeah. These are from like the 90s. I think they were coming out for a while until like just recently. And so I was going through, and in case you asked me what I got and I pulled them out, I got like the least pornographic looking covers. So there's only 2 where I'm like, all right, there's no tits.
Okay.
Or
What is
nudity.
heavy metal?
Heavy metal is just like a magazine. It's kind of like Mad in a way, where there'll be like 5 or 6 little stories that are in there.
Okay, gotcha.
Sometimes they'll just be like one shots in there, like little 8 pages or whatever. Or sometimes it'll like continue
Okay.
through different issues of the magazine.
Okay.
Which is
so
neat.
Kind of like how manga works.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Like a manga magazine.
Mhm.
And so, and it's normally some sort of sci-fi kind of dark, like adult kind of stuff. There'll be like a lot of violence and nudity and things like that.
Did you read through it yet?
No.
Okay.
So
It is cool that you have it though.
yeah,
It's kind of like having an old Wizard magazine or something.
yeah. This seems cool to me because it seems more like a comic,
Yeah.
you know? And so that's just kind of been like an interest of mine lately,
Mhm.
because heavy metal is what inspired like Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like an anthology kind of thing. So
Is that real? That's
that-
what inspired that show?
yeah, there was
Oh,
going to
cool.
be like a heavy metal show, but it was like kind of rebranded in a way.
Ah, interesting.
So yeah, pretty cool. I've been asking around for those sort of things or for these magazines, and still kind of on the hunt because like I don't really care about having like multiple in a row
Mhm.
because you can kind of just pick them up,
Yeah.
you know.
It's kind of like just a neat little thing to pick up every once in a while because they're not like really around anymore.
Right.
So like Wizard and Mad and Heavy Metal. So it's kind of interesting to pick a random one up from like the 90s and see what's going on.
And these are also like an inspiration for like Rebel Moon. That doesn't like increase my interest of them, but like
Yeah.
that's like what like Zack Snyder had in mind when he was
That's
like
cool.
writing these, which I think is funny.
Yeah.
And when I saw Charles,
Dude, I forgot to ask him about the Lando question that we had.
I know I did too.
I was so angry.
I was indisposed when I saw him, so I was trying to just like
Just trying to get there, get out.
yeah. But I also got his book Anyone,
Oh, nice.
which is like his second novel.
Very cool.
I read The Oracle Year, which is like the only like book I've read as like an adult.
Nice.
And
Did you finish it?
Okay.
Okay.
I got like halfway through it, which
Nice.
is pretty
Okay,
good.
that's pretty good.
And then I got his latest one, which is The Endless Vessel.
Whoa, 2 books.
2 books. Yeah. And since I bought 2 books, he gave me like the signings for free.
Very cool.
And they signed them and stuff. He said, enjoy the journey.
Nice.
This one's called Anyone. And he said,
Man, that guy's grinding, isn't he? Because he's still doing a bunch. He's been doing comics like this whole
he said,
time.
you can be anyone. I'm like, wow.
Charles says it.
Yeah.
I told him that I really liked his Red Lantern stuff because he was on Red Lantern. He's like, that's a big throwback. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. He did a good job.
Yeah. I was tell him I really liked Oracle Year, and I like how he writes books, because he kind of writes books like comics. He's like, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Because he has like, he'll have like cliffhangers at the end of each chapter and stuff like that. And there's not like filler. It just like, it seems like everything that's written is like important, you know? So I'm a fan of those.
Yeah. What else did I get signings from? Oh, Doc Shaner.
Yeah.
Was there, which is cool because I was finally, I already have, like for Strange Adventures, I already have Tom King and Mitch because they were there last year. So I was able to get Doc this year, which is cool on the first issue of that. And I also had him sign an issue of the Terrifics that I think is really, really good. It's like, it has like a unique format because like each character is in its own like panel. Like most of the pages are 2x2 panels and there's one character in each of them.
Yeah.
But if they're talking to each other, the panels merge. It's pretty cool. So he was like flipping through that because I could tell that no one like has him sign that. But I think it's a really creative issue. So it was, we kind of talked about that for a little bit. And he was like, yeah, Jeff said that like I didn't have to go that anal with it, but apparently Doc was like super insistent that everything was like that. And he was like, oh, I wish I got to draw like Metamorpho more and stuff. And he teased us that he's got something coming up pretty soon that he's writing and drawing. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, later from DC.
So Tradewaiters exclusive. We should put that in the news. But it was fun. I also had my my graded new Teen Titans signed by Marv Wolfman, which is cool. He just kind of signed over it.
What's that graded?
9.4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Did you read anything else?
Just the Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men. Ultimate Spider-Man's really good. It just flows really well. And I can tell it's Hickman not trying to go like super crazy on his stuff. So I like his writing a lot more.
That seems like the right thing to do for Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's perfect. I was a little afraid of like if he was going to try too hard to be funny or something, because I don't really see Hickman as like a funny writer.
Yeah.
But I think he does pretty good. So,
nice.
And he's also really good, you know, drawing or writing like J. Jonah Jameson and stuff like that. And like it's Marco Cicchetto, I think, doing the art.
Nice.
And he draws people like too beautiful.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
No ugly people.
I'm like, Peter Parker's like a super model. He's got like a beard and shit. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like literally any character, even like Kingpin. I'm like, that guy.
Everyone in the Ultimate Universe is beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then I read X-Men, which was pretty good. I still have no idea where that's going. It feels like something totally unrelated. So, but I'm really enjoying it.
Sweet. I read another Eisner nomination for the international media from Asia. It's a book called River's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because it came out in like Japan in 1994, but wasn't like translated until like 2023.
Yeah.
And there's even like a Japanese movie that came out in 2018. So it's like been like around for like a while, you know.
Wait, what was it called? Sorry.
River's Edge.
River's Edge.
I don't know if you want to look it up for context, but it's like 14 chapters in total. It's like kind of like a simplistic art style, but it still looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like this. It's like a slice of life kind of thing in high school where it's like this closeted dude and like this emotionally unavailable girl, and they're like friends. And I assume that like that relationship grows. It's like, I know it's like a good book, but it's just kind of personally not for me.
Oh, okay.
I only read like the first couple of chapters.
Yeah.
There's just like too many like names and characters, and I couldn't really keep everyone straight.
Yeah.
So I even had this on like a list because they talked about it in manga splaining, and it seemed interesting enough, but yeah, it doesn't get my vote if we're picking.
They haven't gone back to me yet, but I'm sure they will. They probably just are sifting through a lot of like bullshit like entries, so it's like they'll get to us. Don't worry.
Did you watch anything new?
No, I've been grinding Game of Thrones because Sophie's making me catch up for the new.
You're almost there.
The new whatever thing is House of the Dragon.
New Hot D.
I forgot what it was called that. When does that season come out? Like June
16th, I think.
June 16th. Yeah. So I'll probably be caught up. How many episodes is the first Hot D season?
It's like 8 or 10.
Okay, 10 Hot Ds. Okay, I could do that. So yeah, I'm on the last season of Game of Thrones. We were just grinding that mainly, though. I don't think was there anything else. A lot of my weekend was eaten up by like organizing my comics, which I haven't done in like 2 years. But
it's crazy, like how much time that takes once you like start it and then finish it. You know?
Yeah, and I have been putting it off because I have been putting it off for so long. So I just like wanted to keep putting it off for as long as possible.
You know how annoying and
but
how long
when
it's
I
going
couldn't
to take.
find my fucking Venom #1 for Donnie and like Ryan Stegman to sign, and I found it the
Embarrassing.
fucking next day, I was so angry because it would have been so cool to have that shit signed.
I know, dude. You could have got that graded, got a nice 8.6 or something.
Yeah. So, but I did it. It took like cumulative probably like 8 hours or something.
Jesus Christ. That's a shift.
Yeah. And so, but I'm also like sifting some of them out that I want to like sell or get rid of. So
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to do that. But no, that was pretty much all. I didn't really watch anything else.
I watched the new Netflix series called Tires.
Oh, yeah.
That
I heard that's really
show. Yeah, the first episode is fucking hilarious.
That's awesome.
And overall, the whole thing is really good. We watched it in like one night because it's only 6 episodes and they're like 20 minutes each.
Is it like similar to The Office type deal, or
Kind of, yeah.
it's like Blue Collar Office or something?
Yeah, it's very dysfunctional tire place, and they're having financial troubles, and they're trying to figure out how to stay open and coming up with new like marketing tools.
Yeah,
and it's just Shane Gillis like
being Shane
going
Gillis.
off. Yeah, basically.
I saw a couple clips from that, and I'm like, this just seems like it's a stand up.
Yeah, it basically is. It's super good. I really recommend it.
Nice.
I even told like Dad to watch it. You know, so
that's big news.
Yeah, it's funny stuff. And then I watched a stop motion movie. It's called Chuck Steele, Night of the Trampires. And
that's not a real thing.
It's a real thing.
You made that up.
You a couple episodes ago, you were like asking like, are there like horror stop motion movies?
Oh,
and so I looked up and found a list, and this was on there. It's like hardly like a horror thing, but I still watched it and had a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like excellent stop motion.
Cool.
I got, because I had never heard of it, I'm like, maybe it's like cheaply done or something.
Mm-hmm.
You should like look it up. And
I think there's a sequel, Raging Balls of Justice. This looks like an Adult Swim thing.
Yeah, it's like TVMA, so it might have been like a TV movie kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, this shit was hilarious. It was
That's
actually
good.
really good. It's like more of like an action horror.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's like really like bright, and like the colors look really good, which was neat.
Mm-hmm.
And so what a trampire is, I guess like in Britain, they call bums like tramps, like Lady and the Tramp or whatever.
Okay, sure.
So the trampires were formed from...
This is a 2018 movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I guess like way back in the day, like Dracula had like an alcohol problem or something. And so his Dracula offspring weren't only hungry for like blood, they're hungry for like alcohol. And so the trampires have come to New York or wherever the fuck it is, and it's like set in the 80s, and the trampires, they only attack people like drunk people like coming out of bars.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's because they have like alcohol in their blood.
Yeah.
And the only way to kill them is if you stab them with like a wooden stake, but like through the liver instead of the heart. And
that's dumb.
Yeah. So yeah, it just kind of like builds and builds as a big finale. The action's actually like pretty fun. It's like a swift like hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, Sarah was taking a nap. I'm like, I got one opportunity. I need something quick.
To watch this. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really fun.
What would you guess the tomato meters to be?
I would guess audience be like 79, and then maybe critics be like 54.
You nailed the audience score. It's 79%.
Oh, nice.
And the tomato meter is actually 88%.
No way. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Because like it's like
they don't really like. It seems like they don't like stuff like this.
They normally don't like animated or
Yeah.
like comedy kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was.
It seems like a little raunchy. Almost.
Yeah, it's super raunchy because it's like set in the 80s and whatnot. It's really good. I was very surprised by it. It was just some random thing I saw, and I had it on a list. Then I went through my list.
Yeah,
and that seemed like what I was mostly in the mood for.
What a fun little gem.
Yeah, so recommend.
Nice.
And what are we gonna read next week, Nathan? What are we gonna read next week?
That is a good question. What should we read next week, Daniel?
Nathan,
do we have anything set up?
Like you said, Hot D's coming out, Nathan.
Hot D is coming out.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones is coming out, Nathan. And there are Game of Thrones comics.
Are there?
Yeah. Relax.
Dude, wait. What kind of Game of Thrones comics?
I got one somewhere.
Is it just called Game of Thrones, or is it like a Arya spinoff or something? You have it? You bought it. The trade. Let me see.
I got this in France.
It's a Marvel?
Yeah, so Marvel had the rights for Game of Thrones for a while, and so this is based off of one of the books written by George R.R. Martin.
Yikes. I'm just kidding.
So it's called
I remember seeing this.
It's called The Hedge Knight.
The Hedge Knight.
And it's like a
Is this
prequel. It's not Ned.
Is this anybody?
I think it's like
Miller. Is this a Mike Miller book? Oh, it is a Mike Miller book.
I think it's
Whoa.
one of the Baratheons is the Hedge Knight.
Interesting.
I can't remember though.
Okay. Well, I'm down for this because I'm going to try and read it and come up with some random lore that I'm going to drop on Sophia.
I know more than you.
And then act like she's dumb for not knowing.
Yeah. So I've been sitting on this one.
Jesus.
And I've been meaning to get... This is like one of the only like Game of Thrones like comics.
Yeah.
So this would be basically our only option.
Hedge Knight?
Yeah. Who's Mike Miller?
He is the Injustice Year 1 artist.
Oh, nice.
I met him at Comic-Con, like at one of the first Comic-Cons I went to.
Oh, no way. Cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
Nice.
Because it's funny because when you see his name on stuff, it's like Mark Miller or Frank Miller, but then it's just Mike.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds good. Hold on, I hate that fucking Kindle has books on there now, so it's gonna be impossible to find this.
Like,
what is like the title of it, like fully?
George R.R. Martin's The Hedge Knight.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that'll narrow it down.
I'll find it.
There are Game of Thrones like graphic novels, I guess. Where it's just like...
No, I'm cool with this one.
So it'd be like... So I think that'd be cool.
Oh, it's got a different cover. Okay. Well, I'll make sure it's the right one. But it sounds good. Yeah. A Game of Thrones episode.
All right, cool. After that, we're like clear until the Eisners just to read Eisner books.
I got some... Oh, yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
So, all right, cool. Thanks. I appreciate the the downness.
You finally get to read one of your trades that you've had there for a while. Wait, you said you got that in Europe?
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
Not even a year.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Tell us if you know anything about Ultraman. Tell us if you read any Game of Thrones comics.
What's a good Ultraman? Or I mean, this one was fine. But what's your favorite Ultraman comic? If you have one.
What suit do you prefer? The old school one or the new school one?
What kind of fin?
Yeah. What's your favorite fin? Yeah, you can email us at tradewaiterspod@gmail.com. Got a link tree in the bio. Like, comment, subscribe, stuff like that. And we'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Thanks for listening/watching.
Yeah. Goodbye.